Welcome to Our Stories Matter, We Will Dance Again. I'm Susie Hess, joined by my co-host, Miri Bar Halpern. This season, we're diving into the stories of Jews, Arabs, and Christians, stories of hope and resilience during times of war.
And in this episode, we talk with Amit Halpern, a courageous teenager navigating life in the shadow of a conflict. Now living through his fourth war, Amit offers a rare and deeply personal perspective on growing up in Israel. With wisdom beyond his years, he shares his reflection on resilience, fear, and the hope that keeps him moving forward.
What I'm taking away from this episode is how a 16-year-old is living through his fourth war. Amit's story is a powerful reminder of the strength and humanity of those living through unimaginable challenges.
Okay, so full disclosure, Amit is my nephew, whom I absolutely adore, and listening to his story today made me even more emotional. This is a very candid conversation that literally hits home for me because Amit represents my home and my family. So I hope you'll appreciate his voice, vulnerability, and courage as much as I do. And remember his name because this kid is born to do great things. Amit, I'm very excited to have you here.
Thank you. So before we start, I want to say something. I think if people around the world is going to see this podcast, I think and they should know about it. Yesterday, something really horrible happened. A rocket that Hezbollah, the terrorist organization, shot in the football yard where there was a lot of kids that had a football match there and with their parents and brothers and all the families. So 12 kids died when the oldest one is in my age and the youngest one is 10 years old. So 12 kids that just like in one moment, like in 5-6 seconds, just their life ended because Hezbollah. And I think it's people really talk about what happened in Gaza and like everything that happened, but in the north too, they have a lot of problems to deal with. And we're not even like in the title, we're not even in the war. Like it's not like we are the Lebanon war. They're just helping make us to make our life harder and more difficult to handle with it. So it's horrible. It's the Druze religion that's close to all of our hearts. They're serving the army. They are the warmest people we know. We love them so much, and it's so sad that things like that happened. Like,
I'm so glad that you said that, Amit, because I think a lot of people don't have awareness that Arabs and Druze and Bedouins and, you all live together and that there's solidarity together and that you're all like in the IDF and you all go to the same schools. And so when it impacts one community and it impacts the entire state of Israel. And I'm so glad that you said that because it's really not in the news over here so much. I mean, no one's talking about it.
yes, because even in Israel, like especially with the Druze are very close to our heart because they serve in the army and it's like they are doing a lot for Israel, a lot. And I think that even in Israel, like we are a country that forgets things really fast. So I think in like 4 or 5 days, they're talking about something we're going to respond to Hezbollah in Lebanon. Only if we do something dramatic there, I don't think that in 4 or 5 days somebody's going to talk a lot about it. Like we're all going to remember that, but it's not going to be in the title of the news in Israel. So, around the world, I don't see a way that people will talk about it. So I think it's really important that we remember all these kids that just died for being in Israel. I don't know.
And this is such a good point. This population is in Majdi al-Shams, which is like 2 hours from where you live.
Yeah, after 2 hours, half an hour, something.
Yeah, like an hour and a half to drive. So it's like, for me, it's like.
So I think 2 days or 3 days before the war started, I was in Majdi al-Shams. We ate there in like a really nice restaurant and the people, wow, they were just amazing. Like we had the best time there. Everyone's so kind and so helpful and you just feel like home over there. And like 2 days after that, the 7th of October happened, and 3 days after that, Hezbollah entered all this huge mess. So, and everything just, the nurse is on fire. Like there is no better word for that. Just on fire. Like all of a beautiful forest and all the trees are just burned up because of the rockets. Civilians died like almost daily. Our soldiers died just because, we're not even. It's crazy that we're not even in war with them. In the title, and people still die like daily. I think 41 people, like civilians and soldiers, died in the north in the 7th of October, and we're not even in war. 41 people.
Amit, you're raising the issue that we're technically not in war even with Lebanon, but yet so many displaced families are from the north. I mean, so many families are not able to go back to their houses. We have friends from one of those areas next to the border with Lebanon, and they moved. Like there's nothing there to go back to, and I think that's that extra part that again no one is talking about. And I think what really resonated with me is what she said about, first of all, kids your age died in a place that literally you were there like a week ago, in a community that is a minority community within Israel that people are not talking about enough. I mean, this is for me, like the mind-blowing piece of it is that terrorism doesn't care if you're Jewish or if you're Muslim. It's all about inflicting fear and pain. And they die because they're Israelis, because they're Arab Israelis.
Exactly. So I think like you said, they are not like aiming for a specific target. If they do it for like IDF bases and things like that, but most of the time they don't do that. Like they say they're doing that, but they're shooting to civilians area 100%. They don't care. They're not like, oh no, move it a little. It's going to fall. I don't know, like it's going to explode in some village, something like that. No. So they're just shooting a lot of rockets, and they go like, oh yeah, so some of them will hit, some of them not. It's okay, thing like that. So they don't care. They just don't care. They just shoot and hope for something to work for them. And yeah, so we have like, it's scary because we have like a huge like small army on the fence, like right on us. You can see them. I remember before the war started, there was like not a war, but like conflict between Israel and Hezbollah, and you can see them on the fence, like you can see them with your eyes. I remember that when we go there, people like the civilians told her, if you look really good, like you can see them on the mountains, you can see them near the fence. It's so like in an order, they can just rip the fence like Hamas did, just go to all the Galil and Nahariya, Kiryat Shmona, Metula, even I don't know, even Tzfat, like all like big cities, it's going to be filled with terrorists. And they said like the army said it's not going to happen to us. And if Hamas did it, Hezbollah, it's capable to do that 10 times worse. So I think that it's scary. There's not another word for that. We live in Shir. I had I am 16 years old, and this is my 4th war in Israel. There was one in every I had in 2008 when I was almost a years old. There was in 2012, 2014, 2021. There was a big one. I'm not talking about the operation. I'm talking about like when me and my family is going to the to the shelter, and we hear like explosion and rockets flying. Like months ago, in the stairs of our building, I have a picture. I can find it. Like a big part of rocket just fall out on our stairs. Like one of the neighbors' car, just the windows just exploded from the rocket. It's in my house. I saw in my roof. We have like a roof. I saw like a tab, like a little piece of rocket. Just imagine, I don't know, if it was explode like 3-4 centimeters, like left or right, how house can be just It's crazy. So this is just one experience. I told you I had an experience with my mom and my little sister. She's 5. We had to stop in the highway on the side of the road, and just me, my mom, and my sister just hide from the rockets under a rock, like a big rock. So we just put our heads, yeah. And you look up and you see like rockets, our rockets, boom, tack, tack, boom, boom, boom. You hear all. I have 50, 60 videos in my phone that I filmed like rockets, and I live near Tel Aviv. So you see the rockets from Tel Aviv, Rishon, Chula, you just see it right above you, and you hear everything, and it's every like explosion, like I don't know how you say it in English, like when our Iron Dome rockets, our rockets should like hit their rockets and explode in there. Your house is shaking like crazy. Your windows are shaking. You feel like the heat. You feel like all over, and it can like you feel it like 10, 15, even 20 times sometimes. It's crazy. in the start of the war, we had it daily. Like in the first 2-3 weeks, we had it like 3-4 times a day.
This is amazing. So as a 16-year-old, having been in 4 wars already, and I'm wondering if you can talk about where you were on October 7th.
So in October 6th, I went out with my friend, like every average teenager. I was 15. We were almost a year in the war. So, it was in October. I was like 15 and a half. So I went out with my friend. I went to my friend's house. He lived 2-3 minutes from here. And we stayed in his house like 2-3 a.m. Yes, a.m. Like late hour. Like it was Friday. It wasn't a holiday. We went out to celebrate. We ate some food at his house, and then we went to a walk in the neighbor. I got home at like 4, I think, 4 in the morning, and then 2 hours later, 2.5, 6:30. In this day, my little sister is supposed to have a birthday with the kindergarten in the yard, like near our house. And my mom told a crazy story that she just knew something is going to happen. My mom said that, and the rocket started at 6:30. My mom said she was awake since 6 and just waited for something to happen. So she just felt it. And before she fell asleep, she told me she had like a crazy thought about what happened if they're going to shoot rockets when my sister had a birthday. And it was such a surprise because we had wars. But, we know that something is going to happen. Every time the war started, we were like, okay, so in 8 o'clock, they're going to shoot rockets. Like, this is their hour. They shoot in this hour. The IDF gives special instruction to all the civilians around the country. It wasn't like that. I remember I was asleep. I was like 1-2 hours in my sleep. My mother opened my door. Amit, there is an alarm. Come to the shelter. And since until that day, my parents laughed at me that I just yelled at them. It's not real. It's not real. It's a prank. It's a prank. It's not real. Something. They need to fix it. The alarm is not real. And then like 20 seconds after that, I hear boom, 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 and and another alarm, and another alarm, and another. So you need to stay 10 minutes in the shelter if you don't hear another alarm, and wait, another one, and another one, another. Like, what's happening? I was in 2 hours of sleep. I don't know what's happening to me. I'm like, as I'm like hearing, I think maybe I'm dreaming. Maybe I'm not, because I'm falling asleep and waking up from the explosion, and then falling asleep again, and like half awake, half sleeping. It was crazy. So at that time, I was a manager. Like, I had a Telegram channel, Telegram, like the social app Telegram, with my friends. So like, I don't know, after I woke up, like totally after all when we're going out to the shelter, when the rocket stopped for like half an hour later, we were in the shelter again, just a little break. So I opened the Telegram to report to our followers. In that time, I think we had like 5,000 followers. Now we have 20,000. So in every house in Israel, because of the, all the wars we have like in every house, we have a special room, like armored room that's built with like special metal. So if a rocket hits the house, all the house is going to just falling into himself. And the shelter, we just, you can see pictures on the internet, like a whole building, 10, 12 floors building just collapse. And you see like, block. That's the shelters that stays. So this is it saves so much lives. And you need to, so in the shelter you have like a window, and then a metal window, and then another layer you need to close. You need to close all of it because of the, when a rocket falls, a lot of parts of the rocket is just explode. So you need to close it so the parts won't hit your windows. There are people that died, even they were in the shelter, they didn't close the window, so part of the rockets got in the shelter and killed them in the shelter. It's crazy. It's crazy. You can't stand near the window. You need to lie down.
Amit, so we've been texting on October 7th, obviously. So when I woke up, obviously my first texts were to see if everybody's okay. And I remember that fear of, well, first of all, like the disbelief. Obviously there was several hours difference, because it was, I woke up around 6 a.m. my time. So it was like around, several hours into the war already, right? And it was still, they had no clue what's been happening. There were no answers. And it's interesting. So being here and like that, that first contact was like, is everybody okay? Are you safe? And this is such a reality that I became used to. It's crazy, right? But I was thinking about you guys specifically because first of all, I know that you love taking videos. And I'm like, oh my God, I hope he's not on the roof, like taking videos right now.
We didn't got time in October 7th to film videos because I think that what happened in the sky of my area in October 7th, unbelievable. You go up and you're like, what is that? This I can just imagine what happened like in the air in the sky above my house in this day because
But so as you know, I was trying to convince all of you to come here for a real period. Like I was so scared. And then, your dad, my dear, dear brother, his answer to me was, I understand the war. We've been living through it. What I don't understand, I can't have my kid go through, is anti-Semitism. And I remember that sentence when he said, I can't tell Amit, Eli, and Alma don't speak Hebrew to me in the street. And I had no answer for him, right? I was like, I'm scared for your lives, my family. And at the same time, hearing from him that he's more scared about what will happen if you guys will be here was heartbreaking to me. And I don't know, what you see in the news, I know that you're so, for a teenager, you're so aware of everything and you're so involved in constantly, probably too much listening to the news. What it's like for you when you hear about everything that's going on college campuses here and in school for someone who's you're going to join the army in about a year and then you're going to start thinking about college. And I know that, we had conversation about where you're going to go to college and what that's going to be like. And
I think that in Israel, we had a joke before the war that it's safer for Israel is on board and not in our country because we had terrorist attack, not rockets, but terrorist attack, all the terrorists. Then the opposite became, and then the joke became the opposite, even in the war where people die every day, that we say that in Israel, it's safer during the war more than on board. Like I'm an Israeli, I'm a Jewish. I can't just hide it, I cannot, okay, so I will speak English, I not speak Hebrew. That you can't take my religion from me. You can tell me you can tell me okay, you can celebrate Hanukkah, Passover, you can speak Hebrew, you can, I don't know, show you a Jew, you can speak, it's just part of me. And I can't see myself hiding and living in fear that someone is going to find out that I'm a Jew or do something for me just because I'm a Jewish. I can't. This is my country, and I can't live. It's so hard in here, but I can't live here during the war. I feel like I need to be part of my country and help.
I appreciate what you said. I'm wearing a Star of David, and I have to tell you, I bought this after October 7th. So before October 7th, my parents always told me to hide. So I was raised hiding my entire life, but I thought that was just sort of like a paranoid thing. And then October 7th happened, and then I saw what was happening. I teach at USC, so I saw what was happening at USC and UCLA and Harvard and everywhere across the country, what was happening. And it made me want to come out, quote unquote, and not be in hiding. Yet I'm afraid. When I go out with the Star of David, I am very nervous, but I'm not going to hide anymore. And my dad always said, do not wear anything Jewish. Don't have anything Jewish when you travel. Put it in your suitcase in case there's a terrorist on the plane. That's how I was raised. So last week when I came home to visit my mom, I decided I was going to wear the Star of David on the plane. And my heart was racing the entire time because of how I was raised. But going back to March, when I met Miri in Israel, which is how this whole episode came about of connecting with you, I felt much safer in a war zone than I feel here. So I still keep trying to figure out how to get back.
Exactly. So yeah, in March or April, I'm not sure, I was in the Netherlands, in Amsterdam, and my mother just told us, don't speak Hebrew. You don't speak Hebrew. It's going to sound a little racist, but there are a lot of Muslims and people that don't like us in this area of Europe. We heard a lot of Arabic, and every time you hear Arabic, as an Israeli, in on board, you don't know why. Your heart's to be afraid. Maybe they know I'm Jewish and they're talking about me, or I don't know, they say something about hurting me. We don't know that. So we couldn't speak Hebrew there. My mother told us every night to make sure the door is locked, in the upper door and the usual you live in fear in your country, you live in fear on board, just because you're Jewish. And at least here I can speak Hebrew. So this is the only thing I can,
It's so sad. And I think it really speaks to the intergenerational trauma component. I mean, so Amit is a fourth generation Holocaust survivor. I'm a third generation. And like a bit about our family. So my parents grew up, they're both only children. And my mom's side, I remember my grandmother used to talk about the Holocaust all the time. And I mean, I don't know if you agree with that. I think Savta has more anxiety in general, and more she's scared about us, right? You need to be very careful out there. And everything was always very fearful. And my dad's parents, my grandparents from my dad's side, also Holocaust survivors, would not talk about the war. I don't know if you remember, only, I think when you were older, they start opening up maybe a tiny bit. But
my late grandfather, Ijo, started to talk about the war, the last years of his life. Yuli didn't speak with him.
Yuli, so Savta Yuli, my grandmother, his great grandmother, she spoke with me about it literally before she died. Things that she didn't even tell my dad. So my dad, Amit's grandfather, is a psychiatrist who specialized in Holocaust survivors and second generation. The way we grew up, Amit's dad, Ronen, and myself, was when we travel abroad, you hide your identity because what will happen, right? And I think, Susie, to your point, what you're talking about, this is how you were raised. And it's interesting that Amit's mom, again, generation of generation, it just goes through it. And
I think that I wouldn't be surprised at all if we can see that the Holocaust created genetic chain of anxiety and stress. Exactly. So
you're so smart. You see, that's why I love much. So yes, there's actually a ton of research. It's called epigenetic, and it shows that there is a change of genes for when someone goes through such a traumatic event. Amazing research for people listening by Rachel Yehuda, for example. There's actually a really interesting syndrome. It's called chem survival syndrome. And it shows that second generation offsprings that were not at a Holocaust, but their parents were at concentration camps, they have the same symptoms as their parents, even though they didn't go through that. It's crazy. Same, by the way, very similar, 9/11, they had a ton of research about the genetic component and cortisol levels. So they showed that women who were pregnant during 9/11, their kids, when they were born, the cortisol level have been off. It was changed. So there's definitely a genetic component to trauma. But, what's interesting is also, it's always the social aspect as well. I told Noah, my son, when we were traveling to New York around November, the end of November, don't speak Hebrew to me. And he's not, he's an American Israeli, but he didn't grow up in Israel. And you get it. My son was, why? What am I need to be afraid of something? What do I need to be afraid of? And he became so hyper vigilant. But the reason was we were surrounded by a lot of people that were Muslims, I would assume. And I hated that feeling of judging and making assumption. Me, who's all about people, but I was so traumatized that everyone are out to get me that I had to very actively bring my alarm system down, tell myself, I don't know if there's no evidence to show that they're against me, but I had to do that actively. And I'm thinking people that are not aware of that and just going through the world with this feeling of who's out to get me, I need to hide my identity, the damage that is causing is insane.
So I don't think there is a person that knows this more than me, that I am very anxious person for a lot of reasons. But as an Israeli, you are having more thing to stress from, to fear from, than your usual, I don't know, European, Swedish guy. Just an example. But it just like that, like Miri said. It's became like our schedule, we live in fear and we get used to it. You don't get used to it, but this is the situation and you accept it in some way because you can't do nothing to change it. Everyone, the Jews will be hated, everyone going to hate us. A lot of people are going to hate us and we can't do nothing to change it. They hated us before, they're hating us now, and they will hate us.
Oh my gosh. 16 and you have so much awareness and insight and knowledge at just your short 16 years. How do you think all four of the wars, and of course October 7th, has impacted you? Even when you talked about your anxiety, how do you think it's impacted you? Because my guess is that you're not the only one, that other people are feeling the same, especially your age.
Okay, so I think that I can say that and I'm sure that in 100%, every person in Israel, it doesn't matter if you're 1 year old, if you're 100 years old, every Israeli have post trauma from the October 7th. No matter if you have like a little flashbacks from the event, or you were at the party, the Nova, and the terrorists shot at you, and you were kidnapped in Gaza, or you just like a usual person that stayed in the shelter for a few hours. We are traumatized. We saw videos, we saw pictures. I don't think I need to describe what I saw. I didn't what I saw, not the 15, 16, 20, or person in any age should see. Everyone in Israel know at least one guy that's not with us anymore because he was butchered, killed, like murdered in the cruel way that comes like the most cruel way you can think of.
Yeah. And how do you, navigate your like all of that? Because just when I was there, for that week, I couldn't really speak. I was horrified and shocked. And to this day, I still haven't told anyone about what I saw and heard because it was still too much. I feel like it was neurologically overwhelming for my brain to understand. So how do you sort of navigate that each day?
Yeah, so I think that the most important thing you need to just let the time pass, let the wound heal. So I think that what helped me was I like in the first 2 3 weeks I just went out to my roof, I don't know, just listening to music, like be more like aware and breathing fresh air because you feel like you trapped all the time, like you need to stay at home with all the with all the alarms. And I think that people don't understand what we've been through in the first 2 3 weeks. It just we slept in the shelter. We stayed in the shelter. There was days where you shower, you had an alarm. You eat, you had an alarm. It just
Did you go to school in the first weeks? I can't
okay.
remember.
So a funny story. The government tried to get us to to the schools and cut in like you use your life really fast. And I had alarm during a math lesson. It was so I was in class and suddenly my phone started to like crazy notification. And I told my teacher, "Can you stop for a sec? There is an alarm in somewhere in the south." And she told me, "No, it's not going to reach us. It's okay, it's okay, it's okay." And I told her, "Stop! It does it's coming. It's getting closer to us." And I see it getting it started usually like I don't know, Ashkelon, Ashdod, Hulon, Rishon, Hulon, Tel Aviv, and then us. And I started to nearly yelling at her. You don't understand. You don't understand. It's coming to us. It's coming to us. And the minute she told me, "Put your phone in the bag. I don't want to hear it anymore." Like 3 seconds after that, the alarm started. We all started to run to the shelter like crazy. Like 400 students ran to the shelters. It was and it was one of the biggest rockets. It's called Matach in Israel, like the biggest group of rockets that shot at us. I think it was like 40 rockets shot at us. 100 meters from our school, like a big part of the rocket fell. It was the same time that the rocket it wanted to do on the stairs, like the part that fell on the stairs on the cars near our house. It was this time. I remember going from school to my house. You see a lot of ambulance. You see like parts of rockets on the street. You see it with your eyes, just spreading everywhere, like a little piece there, a little piece there, a little piece there. So if sometimes it fall from the sky on someone, it killed him immediately.
I think I have a picture. I think I have a picture of either you or Eli, because I think Eli, your younger brother, he was on the way home, and there's a picture of all the kids near the school
Yeah,
just
yeah.
going
So
like
so
that.
it's from the elementary school me and Eli went. It wasn't Eli in the picture, but it was like 2 or 3 like the third grade or the fourth grade.
Oh my gosh, I can't even imagine being in school in a war, yelling at the teacher, it's coming, not being listened to. And then all of a sudden the alarms and 400 students are trying to get out. How would you hope that the media, especially all over the world, but especially in this country, would cover this? Like, what do you want people to know that they don't know in the media?
I think that people don't understand that the IDF doing everything. not to hurt people that, no, מדי חומרים חפים מפשע, didn't תוריד את זה, שכחתי. Innocent, בחלם. So Israel is doing everything to not hurt the innocent civilians in Gaza, in Lebanon, and they're doing everything to hurt the innocent people because they know that's hurt us the most. Like, in Israel, a civilian worth more than a soldier. This is a fact. In Israel, and civilians worth more than a soldier. And that's why in October 7th, they try to kidnap civilians and more civilians than soldiers because they know it will hurt us more. And I think that the people around the world don't understand that we are doing everything not to hurt the civilians, but Hamas and Hezbollah use them as like a human shield. They put them on the front. So we will hurt us, and then they're going to act like the victims. Israelis, the Israel army killed the children. The Israel army doing everything, so they're all civilians, so that, things like that. And it's not like that.
What's interesting, Amit? It's interesting because, and I don't know, I mean, obviously there's a few generations between us, but the way I grew up was, sits for peace, right? It's all about that notion of we need to live with peace with our neighbors. It's part of like the Jewish tradition. We're not a religious family, but like part of the Jewish tradition is like tikkun olam and, you don't hurt your neighbor and all of that. And something on the seventh shattered in me. Like I had to work back to raise my compassion and go back to like that. You need to have peace. And I'm wondering for you, obviously it's a completely different generation. Did you grow up also in a way where like I really remember like as a student in school, we had like groups about like peace and everything. I don't know if you still have like something similar in the education system, and also where do you seriously, like, what are your thoughts about it?
So I'm going to say a really hard sentence. I'm not like, all my life, I was like in the opinion of, we can do peace, it's so simple. No. After the October 7th, they said it, like on black and white, we can't do peace with them. And it's hard to say that, but Golda Meir says something in 73. If the Israel is going to put down, if like Hamas and like the terrorist organization going to put down their weapons, there's going to be peace. If Israel is going to put down their weapons, Israel will not be existed anymore. And it's just like that. If we stop fighting, if we surrounded and say we need peace, in a year, 2 years, 3 years from now, there's going to be the second October 7th, and even harder, with more casualties, with more people that kidnapped and murdered. It's just like that because they're not human, and people don't understand that. There's good Arabs in the world. There's good people that want peace, that want us to live together. Like the Druze, the Bedouins, and even like there is Arabs, Muslim Arabs that live in Israel that want peace, that don't hate me like I don't hate them. Like how the people in Gaza, like Hamas in Gaza, see me and they're like, this person should be dead. This person should be murdered. I need to kill this person. And I don't think about it when I see an Arab people, and when I see I don't know, even a terrorist. You don't. Like after the 7th October, yes, you think about, he killed like a huge family. He killed a family. He put their house on fire and burned them. Yeah, he should be killed. He should be, we should put him out. But you don't think about it. And like their agenda, it's to kill like every Jew that's walking on earth. We don't think like that. And until they're not going to be like in the level, when they don't go with the agenda, every Jewish in the world should be killed, there is no hope for peace. That's my opinion.
Yeah, and I think it's super hard because in the charter of Hamas, it says to eliminate Israel and all Jews.
This is like their first like they have like some sort of book where like all the like their agendas and ashkafot olam, I don't know how you say it. The word, like the worldview, like in the first worldview of them, like in the big title, kill all the Jews.
And I think, that's what's really stressful is that it's part of the Hamas, regime or charter. I mean, that is how they study. And so, it's painful because I think of the kibbutzim and all the peace activists who are like, we want peace. And when they would go over and bring, Gazans over, the border to the hospitals, all of those things. And it's heartbreaking to know that the peace activists died. It's like, what is the solution? And I'm wondering for teenagers, especially, what can people do if they want to support, whether it's like social media, like the misinformation is such a problem. And you see that in the States with all the anti-Semitism of like, what is really happening? So what advice could you give to like the youth out here, the teens out here, of what they can do so that we can dismantle this polarization?
Okay, so I'm going to say something like little inappropriate. Stop seeing shitty posts on Instagram. That's like a lot of fake news when they like there is a lot of like videos like behind the scenes in Gaza when you see like a whole little movie. Like, you see like the person that said, okay, lay there and act like you're dead. We're going to paint some fake blood on you. Say that. Yeah, so people around the world, I can understand that people that see that and don't really know like the background. It seems real. Like, and they look at it and say, oh my God, these are killed 20 babies. And you can see like all the babies dead. And so just before you see something on the social media, like use your brain, think twice, like think about, okay, does it seems real? Does it? So, and don't like you see the video. So, oh my God, the Israeli like it butchered all the babies and saying that. So like try to watch videos and read news with responsibility, and don't just listen to everyone who's in the internet that says whatever you want, because when most of the world is a free world and you can say almost whatever you want, and you can stream it, you can say that, you can try to convince people that it's true. And by the end of the day, you will convince them if it's true, if you try enough and you are talented. Just like that, it's like a manipulation.
Thank you so much. I love that.
Oh my God, he's so smart beyond his years. It's crisp. Okay, I made 2 more questions. We ask everybody the same 2 questions. What will you do for your healing journey this week? I know you mentioned before that after October 7th, you used to go up the roof and listen to music and just breathe, which I love so much. What is one thing you're willing to do this week to continue the healing process?
I don't know if like, I don't know if me even know, but like a month ago, I drowned in the sea. Like it was really dramatic. Like people like got me out and hospital, things like that. So before that, what really helped me was to go like, there is a beach in Israel called Sydney Alley with like big cliffs, and you can just sit there, like watch the sunset. I used to go there with my friends like almost every day, and just talk about everything. And I I don't know if like it's the most masculine thing to say, but like 2 weeks ago, I went with me and 2 friends went there, and we just talked about the October 7th, and my friend just started to cry, and we cried together. It was nice. So it's really like you feel like it's really heartwarming that we were all in this together. So you listen to people, you tell your experience. It's like Sydney Alley and it's like the beach. I will try to go to the sea more, and for my healing from the drowning and to the heal from October 7th. It's like the place that really helps me to calm down and that put everything in perspective. And I think that I will try to go
Oh,
to the sea more
Amit,
this
oh
week.
my gosh, you are so brave on so many levels. I mean, I could like ugly cry just like hearing, the beauty of connection and sharing. And especially like you said, like it may not seem so masculine. I think that's something that, you know, you are dismantling by letting people know, it's okay. It's actually healing. And I did it with a friend. And I give you so much credit, and you're such a brave human being. And our last question is, what was it like to tell your story today?
So I think that like me personally, I really like to talk and experience myself and like, share my experience and my view on things. So I really enjoy. And I think that, and I believe that it's good to talk about things. Like even if it happened 10 months ago, I think it's really like, it's releases a lot of like, thoughts and things that you just, it's like a sponge, you know, you Game copy. Like
You accumulate everything, kind of like a sponge, like everything.
so you like freeze it and just stay there. You need to, I believe that you need to talk it out, cry it out. Like you need to let it go. And this is like a great, platform and opportunity for me to just let go of all, all the thought and all the experience.
Oh my God, Amit, can you tell we're related? We all like to talk about feelings and stuff. Oh my God, Amit, I am shaking here. Like, we talk so much, and I know your heart in and out, but hearing you talk here, first of all, I'm just so proud of you. But at the same time, my heart is so sad for you at like, going through this experience and growing up like that. And I'm so grateful for your voice and for being so resilient and for finding ways to see the light and see hope. And my hope is that, I know it's really hard right now to even think about peace and making some sort of future. And I hope that there will be a future. I hope that we can figure out a way for everybody never to forget, but to somehow, I can't lose hope, right? I just can't let go of it. Not with Hamas. We're on the same page with that. Not with Hamas, but people to people.
I do believe that we can make peace with like the Arabs and the Muslim in the world. I think like the not the brainwashed Arabs, that there are people just like me that studied math and I don't know, like their language and biology and stuff like that at schools. Like normal people that live a normal life, they just grow up to terror and they don't like get the education to killing. I think that I'm not so much different than them. So I believe that like in the general world, we can do peace. Not with the terror organization, but with like the Arab country. I do believe that we can make peace with them.
I love what you just said. People to people, right? They're not different. At the core, we are the same. And thank you. Thank you for being such a loud voice in such a young age. And I love you and I miss you so much.
I love you too, Neri.
We'd like to thank our listeners, music composer Jonathan Bargiora, sound designer Ivan Reyes, podcast advisor Donna Fazari, and special thanks to the Academic Engagement Network for their generous support. Today's episode is co-produced by Professor Susie Hess and Dr. Miri Bar Halpern. Our Stories Matter, We Will Dance Again is brought to you by Trauma Informed LA. Check us out on Facebook and Instagram and at our website at traumainformedla.org. Please give us 5 stars on iTunes so more folks can have access and donate to traumainformedla.org so we can keep recording and healing through our storytelling episodes.